If someone said to you, by investing just a few minutes of your time, you could examine the evidence to make up your own mind about something that could transform you and your life forever, well, I think you might think that was well worth it. I think you might take that seriously, and I think you might make that investment of time. Well, that's what we're asking right here, right now. Would you invest a few minutes of your time to examine something that could change everything for you? You know, no serious historian disputes that a man called Jesus lived and died on a cross 2,000 years ago. The evidence is overwhelming. The historical accounts of the life of Jesus, both within and outside of the Bible, confirm really beyond any reasonable doubt that a man called Jesus lived and was crucified in the Middle East 2,000 years ago. And to be completely honest, there isn't much special about someone dying on a cross in that part of the world at that time in history. Just 70 years before Jesus, some 6,000 captured soldiers of the slave rebellion led by Spartacus were crucified all along the road to Rome. Why then does history record, and we still talk about 2,000 years later, this one particular crucifixion on a hill just outside Jerusalem? Why do we still remember an obscure Jewish rabbi and teacher who lived for just 33 years in an obscure outpost of the Roman Empire all those years ago? Why do we still talk about it today? Well, people throughout those 2,000 years who have followed Jesus and his teaching and who have believed that he was more than just a man, well, they would argue that the reason we still talk about him is because 3 days after that crucifixion, he came back to life in something Christians call the resurrection. And you know, the truth is that Christianity stands or falls on this one event. The story of Jesus really isn't worth telling without a resurrection. Without the resurrection, Jesus was just another rebel who died on a cross, and there were plenty of those. But with a resurrection, with a coming back to life, well, that changes everything. Because with a resurrection, suddenly Jesus backed up his outrageous claims to be the Son of God. With a resurrection, well, then his claims to be the Saviour of the world carry a huge amount of weight. With a resurrection, he's worth listening to. Because after all, if a man can predict his own death and his coming back to life and then pull it off, well, that's someone you'd want to listen to. And that's somebody worth following and looking to for meaning and purpose, and to lead you to find out what it means to be fully alive. The resurrection of Jesus is the pivotal event in Christianity, serving as a cornerstone for the faith of millions of people all around the world. And while some, maybe even you, might find it difficult to believe in such a miraculous event, well, I think there are several compelling reasons to support the belief in the resurrection of Jesus. So in this series of videos, we're going to examine 5 key pieces of evidence that point to 5 compelling reasons to believe that Jesus really did rise from the dead. And if you're willing to invest just a few minutes of your time in examining those 5 pieces of evidence, well, I think that could change your life.